The machine we're going to use today is our Sign Easy Plus, and it's our mid-range heat assist laminator. Let's get started. Alright, the first thing we need to do is get our film and our cords to collect the waste paper up on the machine. I'm just going to remove the film mantle first. Insert that into our roller film and then place it back onto the machine. Making sure that we are relatively centered. Next one is our core for our waste paper. Being able to put it on a core means we can collect all our waste paper and put it straight into a recycling. Alright, now I'm ready to web up the film through my laminator. You might notice what I've got is the rollers are open, which they need to be when we first web up. I take my laminate, I run around the idler bar, which is usually located right behind the main roller, and then I take it straight up to my paper collection roll. There's two reasons I do this. Some people try to split the liner individually, and that is quite difficult, and you'll need usually more than two hands to do it because you've got nothing to hold the actual film. So what I do is I face slit, which makes a very light cut in the film, and once it's attached up the top to our roller, it makes it very easy for me to separate the film. I'm not fighting with the release liner. The release liner is taken care of by the machine, and then I pull a decent amount of film, especially when you're learning. It's important to give yourself a little bit extra film. I'm bringing that down over the front roller, and I want to make sure it's nice and square and straight. That's the most important thing. If it's not square to start with, if it's crooked or out of angle, because of the width, it's going to take a long time to correct it. You're actually better off starting and setting up again if you get it crooked. So what I'm going to do with the extra tab I've got here, I'm going to push that through the open roller, pushing it in there, and then what I'm going to do is lower my rollers down onto that tab. And I'm going to put a little bit of roller pressure on. I don't want heaps of roller pressure. I want to try and do it as naturally as possible. Now I'm going to step on the foot pedal to drive the film to the machine. That all looks really good. I'm happy with that. I'm now ready to laminate. Alright, now we've got our print loaded up on the machine underneath here. And I've also got a collection board loaded on the back to collect the print after we laminate it. Just before I web the print into the machine and we start, I just wanted to run through tension settings for our laminator. This machine has 4. So the main one is the film. So the film wants moderate tension on it. That should always have the most tension of any of the knots on the machine. The paper rewind should just have enough tension on it so it keeps the paper out of our way. It doesn't need to pull the paper off the roll. And the job delivery and job collection tension should just be enough to also just do their jobs. So just to reiterate that, we want moderate tension on the film, minimal on the other 3. Alright, I'll web the machine. Now because I've got a little bit of a tab left here from where I've set the machine up, I can just stick my print to that tab. You might find it can look a little bit crescent when it first starts, but if it's set up correctly, all that will iron itself out very quickly. At that point I'm just going to stop and move to the back so I can take our print onto our collection. Now with that connected onto the back, I can start the machine. And as you can see, our print's now feeding through the machine, and it's also now being collected up at the rear. And now basically what we can do is our tension seems fine, our paper take-up's not too tight. Film looks nice across the rollers, there's no marks or creases or anything like that. So from that point, if we're happy with that, we can then increase our speed. And we're away and laminating. So that's a really simple and basic demonstration of how to set up your laminator for laminating. There's a few other things I'd like to point out just at the end before we go. I'm running about 35 degrees on our preheat. 30 to 35 to 40 degrees is about where you want to be. You don't want much over 40 degrees or else your PVC will start to get affected and start to change shape too much. One of the most important things when you finish laminating is just takes 2 seconds, just open your rollers. This will prolong the life of your machine a lot. You'll get many years more use out of it just by doing that one simple thing when you finish using it. The machine is now quite happy to sit webbed up like this. What we always have to have, because we're only laminating one side, is something in the machine. In this case, it's the end of our print, like the header off our print. Basically, it can be a piece of scrap vinyl or whatever, but we need something in the machine to stop our film sticking to the bottom roller. That machine is now happy to sit like that. It can be turned off. You can come back to it the next day, close your rollers and keep laminating. What I'm now going to show you though is I'm going to cut the machine down, and your most valuable assets of your machine are your rollers. If we put a mark or we cut the rollers or we do something in it, it's going to show up for the rest of the machine's life until those rollers are changed. And the rollers are primarily one of the largest costs involved in the laminator. So always take care of your rollers. Cut away, well away from your rollers all the time. Don't come anywhere near your rollers with a knife. One of the good tricks is to cut in the back of the light blade. So we're nowhere near our rollers. Now, with the rollers open, and that film now disconnected from the machine, I can now just wind it through and out the back, which is still attached to our print. And we can cut that off and discard it. I hope this has been helpful in giving you a very basic guide